going on, everybody? Thank you so much for coming back to another video, and in today's video we're going to be talking about Rush Hour 2. So as you can tell from the thumbnail and the title, I am once again joined by Rashad G Reviews in this video to talk about Rush Hour 2. I usually have him go back and watch something that he hasn't seen, but this time I wanted him to check out one of my favorite films growing up. A film that for me is one of the best buddy cop films, or at least one of the most entertaining, and I'll definitely have some objective criticisms in a little bit, but for the most part this is a film that I thoroughly enjoy, a film that I really have a good time with, and I'm just really happy to have Rashad G in this video. I've just been having a lot of fun doing these videos with him. Sometimes we disagree, sometimes it's, very mild disagreements, very small disagreements, and sometimes we're on the complete opposite side of the fence, but I really just have thoroughly enjoyed being able to do these videos with him and just be able to really just respectfully have a good time, just having good, fun movie talk. It's something that I really love and miss in this modern world where if you try to engage sometimes with certain people online when it comes to movie talk, it just becomes a debate. And so being able to do a series like this, or have all the collabs I've been doing with people who sometimes have completely different views, it's truly something I'm really excited for, and I love having Rashad G in these videos. So yeah, Rush Hour 2. This film is directed by Brett Ratner, which is always funny. I didn't really talk about it too much in the first review I did for Rush Hour. Maybe it did, I don't really remember. But yeah, Brett Ratner was one of those directors that went down with that whole Me Too movement. He had some allegations around him that were a bit he's one of those directors that now when I go back and watch his movies, I don't necessarily look out for this stuff, but it's a little bit more apparent to me, the kind of person he is, or essentially seems to be, when it comes to some of the characters that are in his film. Specifically, when you watch the Rush Hour movies, you see it mainly in Chris Tucker's character. I think that his character, the way he talks about women, the way he talks to women, and the way he just is, it's definitely clear that Brett Ratner was putting a little bit of his own humor, what he thinks is funny when it comes to that kind of thing, into his characters. And that's in no way to fault Chris Tucker or his character, because I actually really enjoy Chris Tucker and him in these films. But yeah, just something that I kind of found was funny when I went back and rewatched these movies. So like I mentioned, it's directed by Brett Ratner, who's gone on to do a lot of really great films. I really do enjoy his films on an overall level, if you just take away, his allegations and all that kind of stuff. And then his film, of course, stars once again Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker. This, for me, is definitely one of the best buddy cop films that I've ever seen personally. Now, is it the best written? Is it objectively maybe the best? No, but this is my personal favorite, or at least one of my personal favorites. I really just love Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker. They do such a great job playing off of each other. I think that they're really great in Rush Hour, which I would objectively say is maybe the better one of the two. But this one for me is almost more entertaining and a lot more fun for me, especially since the characters now have an established relationship, and I just really enjoy this as a follow-up to that first movie. So Carter and Lee are now in China. Carter is really excited to be there, and he wants Lee to kind of just show him around, show him a good time. But the issue throughout this film is that Lee is just so attached to his work, so he keeps getting more and more cases, and he just kind of gets Carter involved in these big cases, and Carter just wants to kind of enjoy himself. He wants to be able to just kind of have a good time while he's there in China, be on vacation, and Lee just wants to keep following leads. So with that mentality, Lee ends up getting them involved with the triads. Obviously, Carter does his part to kind of make things worse, which is kind of what he does in these films. He kind of just puts them in shittier situations by not keeping his mouth shut, or kind of being ballsy and getting himself into more trouble. But that's kind of the humor of the situation. You have two characters that are really great in their own ways, and they do things in two different kinds of ways. And sometimes that has them kind of, bouncing off each other, and not necessarily the best way for themselves, but a lot of times it just makes for really great comedy. And I just really enjoy this film. This is a really entertaining film that I think is well acted. Of course, there's some cheesy acting in here, but I feel like it kind of knows that it's cheesy. I don't feel like the narrative is as strong as the first film. The idea of this film is essentially they're caught up with the triads, and now they got all these problems going on. There's a big bad guy, and they're kind of, with these films, what I realize is that it's always really obvious who the main bad guy is. It's like the white guy, the American old white guy that's just kind of mixed in with these people. So not too long into the film, once you see who the old white guy is eventually, that's our bad guy. But of course, you have a bunch of villains and henchmen throughout the film in this one, and I think the first film has a greater sense of stakes and is also a mix of funny and well acted, whereas I feel, for me personally, this one just is more entertaining. I really enjoy the chemistry between Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker. I talked about that before, and yeah, I think they just do such a great job being able to bounce off of each other and just be entertaining to watch. Now, before I continue my thoughts on this movie, let's go ahead and hear what Rashad G Reviews had to say about this.
Hey Perez, what's the deal? Pickles, is everything kosher? Brother, you took me back with this one, Rush Hour 2. I haven't seen this in, it's been a minute. I first watched this when it first dropped in 2001. I believe it was summer of '01. I did go to see this in the theater, and I remember being a very positive experience because it was a crowd full of people. Everybody was laughing. Everybody was having a good time. I just remember really having a good time with this movie. And this is my first time watching it, and I say about maybe, I'll say about 12 years maybe. And don't ask why, like, out of sight, out of mind, I just never really thought about this movie again, or the whole series. And I remember feeling disappointed because I remember loving the second one so much where I couldn't wait for part 3. And for some reason, they took, like, 7 years to make part 3, so I don't know what the hell happened with that. So, yeah, Rush Hour 2. This was directed by Brett Ratner, and that should say it all right there. Brett Ratner is the director that you call to just make a funny movie full of some cool action sequences, some funny scenes, some goofball shit, and you just walk away knowing you had a good time with it, but you're probably not going to remember it because, yeah, this movie doesn't have any substance. And that's probably why I don't really remember the Rush Hour movies like that, because as fun as they were good fun popcorn films, but nothing really that really sticks to the ribs like the Lethal Weapon series. You know what I mean? It doesn't stick to the ribs like that, but it is good enjoyment. It's good entertainment. Rewatching part 2 again, I gotta be honest, bro, because Anthony, me and you DM'd each other about watching this movie, rewatching it, and I remember telling you that it was my favorite one of the series. And to be honest with you, I never saw 3 in its entirety, but I remember 2 being my favorite out of 1 and 2. And I gotta say, part 2 did not age too good. I found myself not really laughing that much in this movie. Was it still a good time? Yeah. My daughter was over. We watched it on the wall on the projector, and I remember not laughing that much. Chris Tucker, by this time, he's making $20 million a movie, and it shows because Chris Tucker is going all out. He is really throwing everything he has comedically, and a lot of it fell flat for me. Like, I felt like Chris Tucker was doing the most, and don't get me wrong, I think Chris Tucker is funny, but I just felt like he was doing the most. He was doing everything he could to get a laugh, and to me, the best kind of humor is when you make me laugh without trying, you know what I mean? Jackie Chan is amazing. Like, this guy, I told my daughter, I said, when it comes to kung fu movies and stunts, this guy is the GOAT. Bruce Lee is the GOAT as far as being like the icon, the superhero. Bruce Lee, yeah, he's that guy. But when you look at the whole body of work, man, Jackie Chan's work is just, it's unparalleled, man. You can't compare anybody to Jackie Chan, even Jet Li, man, I don't care. Jet Li was cool for a time, no diss to Jet Li, but man, Jackie Chan through the late 70s, 80s, 90s, all the way up until like the mid 2000s, man, when he had to retire, because the guy does all his own stunts, and his work is amazing in this film. To me, I enjoyed Jackie Chan in this movie more than I did Chris Tucker, whereas back in the day, I watched the Rush Hour movies more for Chris Tucker than I did Jackie Chan. Ain't that some shit? I found myself in this movie, I found Chris Tucker to be a little annoying at times. It's like, bruh, okay, this is starting to get old now. But a couple of times I did chuckle. There was some nostalgia I had there. A couple of things, brought back some memories. But overall, as a film, I thought it was okay watching it again. And I can't say this is one of my favorite buddy cop movies. Now as far as like buddy cop duos, I'll put Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker probably third on my list. Riggs and Murtaugh will always be number 1. Then I say Mike Lowry, and Martin Lawrence, you know what I mean? And then I'll put Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker, actually no. I slide them number 4 now. Tango and Cash. I gotta put Tango, even though Tango and Cash only had one movie, I'll put Tango and Cash over Lee and Chris Tucker. Plus the jokes in this movie are all recycled from the first movie. But it's just in reverse this time. So instead of Chris Tucker saying, "Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?" And this one is Jackie Chan now saying, "Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?" It's just recycled. But you know what? I shouldn't single it out because a lot of sequels do that. A lot of sequels try to duplicate what they did the first time and just redo that because they know that's what worked. That's what put asses in the seat. That's what people pay to see. But just me personally, yeah, I wasn't really a fan. So yeah, y'all, wrapping this up, I had a good time watching this again, but I didn't love it as much as I did when I first saw it years ago. I guess because I was with the crowd and just the energy, the atmosphere added to the movie, the ambiance and shit. But just watching it now, it's just like, okay, that was okay. As a matter of fact, I think I laughed more at the end credits. The end credits made me laugh more than the movie itself. So y'all, grading this, I would give Rush Hour 2 a B-, just because Jackie Chan did his thing. And no matter, even if Jackie Chan's in a bad movie, you're going to remember his action scenes. His fight scenes are just fucking beautifully choreographed. Man, that dude is a legend, man. Yo, the GOAT. So, A. Perez, man, the floor is yours. What do you got to say about this movie?
As usual, a big thanks to Rashad G Reviews for being in this video. You guys can find the link to his channel down below in the description box. Go give him some love. He has such a great channel. He's got a lot of great content consistently coming out, and he's just somebody that is, puts a lot of love and energy to his videos. So definitely go check his stuff out. So yeah, Rush Hour 2 on an overall level. I know I haven't said too much, so let's get into it a little bit more. Yeah, the performances for me are solid here. The overall action is a lot of fun. There's a lot of really great action sequences in here that are very well choreographed. There's a really great action sequence with Carter and Lee and a bunch of guys that they have to fight in the middle of this bathhouse, or just kind of like a massage parlor. And at first it starts off as this really comedic scene. They get to pick what girl they want, and Chris Tucker's Carter is pretty funny in this situation. Again, a little sprinkling of Brett Ratner in this character. But yeah, they're in this situation. He gets a little cocky and he starts a fight with one of the big bads of the movie, not realizing that everybody else that's in the room is also one of his henchmen, which ends up starting this just crazy kung fu battle where they're fighting back and forth, and so much humor going on with some really great choreography. I really just always love watching Jackie Chan in these scenes, and it's really great to see that in a lot of these scenes, or a lot that you can at least notice, that Chris Tucker was doing a lot of his fighting and choreography as well. So just to see them going back and forth, the humor between them, the way that the film is shot, and the way the film is paced, it's just a really exciting and fun film for me. I've never really bored when I watched this movie. There was nothing about it that was boring to me. And yeah, I love being able to hear the different take that Rashad G had going back and reviewing this film. That's kind of the beauty of this kind of thing, right? Being able to have different opinions on this kind of stuff, even if it's minor, even if you can still enjoy something, but one of you might enjoy something a little bit more. And yeah, I definitely lean more on the side of just having a really great time with this film. I think the weakest film in this trilogy is Rush Hour 3, which I will be reviewing very soon. But yeah, on an overall level, guys, this is a fun film that I think has really great action, some great choreographed hand-to-hand combat, some great humor, and just a fun ride. It's well paced. It's never really slow. It's never really boring. And I think the chemistry between Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan, again, I can't really understate how beautiful and how amazing they are in these films, as far as just a team, the way they bounce off each other, the writing for them in just kind of like little humorous ways that I feel really just works for who they are. Now, of course, I can see some people maybe not loving the humor of this film. You gotta be into this kind of comedy. I think if you watched the first film and you just weren't into a lot of the comedy or some of the dialogue, or even somebody like Chris Tucker, who tends to act very loud and obnoxious, and that's kind of the humor of his character, if that kind of turns you off already, then maybe Rush Hour 2 is not for you. But I am curious to hear what you guys have to say, so definitely leave your comments down below. Do you like Rush Hour 2? Do you like Rush Hour 1 more? Do you like Rush Hour 3 more? Definitely leave all those comments down below. Let me know what you guys think of this franchise as an overall and of this film. Definitely go to the link down below where you guys can go and check out Rashad G Reviews channel. Again, he's got really great content going on there. And yeah, for me, when it comes to Rush Hour 2, a good time, some fun action, some really great visuals at times, some great humor. Again, you have that great blooper reel at the very beginning of the credits that is just, again, feels like you're watching a film made by people who are just having fun making the movie. And that's kind of the reason that I tend to be a little bit more lighthearted on films and not necessarily so critical, because at the end of the day, I realize, hey, I'm not making movies right now. I would love to be making movies, but I'm not. And there are people who are having the opportunity to make a movie, and as long as the film is not boring, I feel like they tried to put something together that they felt was compelling or fun or funny or energetic. And I feel like in this case, when you watch this, it is a really entertaining film. It is a really solid film for me. But on top of that, you also realize that the people making it were just having a great time making it, which just makes the whole experience for me so much more. And you can tell that they created something that was fun by just kind of being able to goof off and have fun with each other. And that for me is some of the beauty of filmmaking outside of cinematography and all these other things that are more artistic, just the camaraderie that can come with creating a film. And the blooper reels at the end of all these films really always kind of solidify that for me. And I just really love the chemistry, again, from the cast in these films, and just kind of the fun that they were all having in these movies. So yeah, guys, this is a fun time for me, a good movie that I do recommend. If you've never seen the Rush Hour trilogy, I do highly recommend it. You may like some more than others, which is always going to be the case, but I think Rush Hour 2 is a solid installment. I think there's some really great big sequences in here that are really great and action-packed. action-packed, some great performances, some great humor, and I will definitely be watching this movie plenty more times before the day I die. So definitely leave your comments down below, guys. Like I mentioned, definitely want to hear what you guys have to say. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe for more videos if you have not already done so, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.